All right, let's get started. Call the meeting to order.
You're fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there's something else.
Everyone present except for Arlene and Marta. Both have excused absences. It's called for the approval of the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda.
Motion approved.
John Pillman, second.
Second.
Second, thank you. That's approved. No public to be heard. Approval of previous month's meetings. One change I saw, called to order by me. I wasn't here, so I didn't. Do we need to wait for Bianca? Are we okay to?
You're okay.
Okay. All right. I'd like to call for a motion to approve the agenda.
The minutes, you mean?
Minutes, thank you. Second.
Second.
All right. New business. Lonnie, can you lead off a little bit on your discussion with Matthew and outreach?
Sure. We met Matthew, who is our representative from the city council. He's very nice. He apologized. He said he has just taken on the job of the city council person, and he had already had 3 months in a row of a trip he had to take for work on the first Wednesday of every month. So he has had to miss the 3 meetings. This is going to be the last one, and he'll be here for the next one.
Right.
So,
Good.
yeah.
Good.
He's a nice guy. He's very open. He's very anxious to find out what we are focusing on and things. So I spoke to him about housing, and I spoke to him about the outreach program that we're doing. And yeah, he was just very cordial, very friendly, and very anxious to get involved and find out what it is we're doing. So I don't know if there's no details we really need to talk about, but I did get a very good sense from him. So
Yeah.
I think he's really looking forward to being part of our group.
I met him at the Cinco de Mayo. He stopped by the booth.
Did he?
Oh, nice guy.
Yeah.
Nice
Do you
guy.
know what he does too on Saturdays? He plays piano at the farmer's market. Yeah, he's a musician too.
Oh.
So sometimes he plays piano at the farmer's market. That kind of made me laugh. I thought that was cute. Yeah. Anybody have any questions about Matthew or meeting him or anything like that? Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Lonnie.
Arlene's not here, but I attended the AAA meeting on Friday. It was pretty interesting to see. They mostly talked about the last part about the budget and what's the issues that are going on with the proposed cuts and what they expect to be happening. What I was mostly taken by was the level of caring that they expressed, but also please be aware that there are some cuts coming and to be aware of what that might mean without making it a problem or just addressing it straight on. They're very compassionate about that, but there are some expected impacts coming for that level of support for people, for seniors specifically. Okay, Dave and John, anything to cover?
John, you're the man.
Okay.
That went downhill pretty quick.
So, just the highlights, indictments. So we learned, or Dave learned from Lily Moon that Boulder Workforce is planning to resume counseling service along, and then there's been discussion. I'm not sure. Interesting. Do we know, Dave, who she's working with on a potential job fair in the fall? Here?
You know, when we talked about it, she just said staff. She said they're talking about, it was my impression that she had already talked to somebody on staff about a job fair in September. No?
No.
Okay. Well, maybe she thinks she did. Anyway, that's what she'd like to do, and so I'm sure you'll be hearing more about that then.
No worries, can't hear.
Okay, that's enough on that. We'll figure out what's going on there. I reconnected with Sheila Hart. She's with the national program that's called SCRSCEP. I forget what it stands for, but they're a national organization that looks for employment opportunities for seniors. When I talked to her, I basically said, like to meet up with you. She comes up here not every Wednesday, but most Wednesdays. She works out of the Boulder Workforce office here at the hub on Kaufman, 515 Kaufman.
Yeah.
And she's going to be up there today, and I'm going to meet with her at 1 o'clock this afternoon. I'm trying to gather information on programs, and my goal would be to educate y'all on what they could potentially do as far as programs for seniors. It sounds like from the email Dave sent out this morning that they've already got something set up with Habitat. More than likely is a hosting organization, and there are other hosting organizations in Boulder. Workforce is actually a hosting organization. So one possibility down the road could be that we would do some sort of a referral. So if seniors came to us and they were interested in employment, we might want to refer them to Habitat or refer them to one of these hosting organizations. I don't know yet, but I'm still in the stack finding mode, so I'm going to meet with her this afternoon.
John, do you foresee if that starts to get some momentum that the board would volunteer to be help with liaison here? How do you see the board and the senior center interacting with them, or do you know at this point?
I don't know at this point.
Okay.
I mean, I can speculate, or I can give you my opinion, but I think there might be some materials, literature that we could have at the front desk, right?
Great.
That if somebody, that we could go ahead and disseminate, that would be an easy thing to do. I think, this thing about hosting is a really big deal. Ryan knows he got hit with it from Sheila. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so, that's a whole different thing than just for us to hand out material to say, hey, these are the organizations that can host, that can provide information and potentially do the hosting. What that involves is, if you're a hosting organization, is you work with employers in the general area. It provides funding for an hourly wage. So if you're a senior and that job requires you to have a certain number of weeks of training, that you would actually, your hourly wage during the training would be offset by the federal government, by the federal government, and then also by state and local organizations. So, as you all know, as Sheila pointed out to me, there are cuts that have already hit, so their funding's gone down, which means their hourly wage has gone down a bit, and the number of hours that they can actually subsidize that hourly wage has also gone down. It used to be 28 hours or something, now it's down to like 14 hours. It's been cut basically in half. I'll know more this afternoon, and then I can maybe update the team next month.
So they're not going to set up a booth in the lobby today.
No, we're not.
Good, just checking.
She would like to.
I know, I heard that.
The other thing to consider is that our HR department has an internship program through St. Vrain Valley School District for high school students, for teens. It might be worth looking at, depending on how this develops, we would need to vet something like that through our HR department, but that might be, something that Ronnie could look into when he is back, like after you have these meetings. I'm thinking that would be a good parallel, and Councilmember Yarbrough really supports the teen program, and has had several meetings with our HR department, so that might be something to consider.
Yes.
Kind of adding on the senior program too?
Maybe.
Never know.
I mean, it sounds like this would be a different funding source, but I think the more that we can kind of standardize all those different practices would be good, and we'd want to get our HR department involved, and we actually have interns placed throughout the city, youth interns placed throughout the city. So potentially that could be another way to align.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, John.
Okay, you're welcome.
Anything else? For my new business, I've got a letter from Sandy Cedar thanking us for support. Letter went out to board members. I got feedback of support for the 4 bills. She wrote back, want to give you the status on the bills. Thank you for your support. Of the 4 bills they proposed, 3 were killed in committee, postponed indefinitely, parentheses, killed in committee. The 4th, community-based continuing care for seniors, both Senate and House passed this bill. It's on its way to the governor's office, so one of the 4 passed. She noted that
Which one passed?
the community-based continuing care for seniors, It's House Bill 25-1184. There's 733 bills presented to the legislature. 85% didn't make it out of committee. And that's a tremendous amount of information to process. But anyway, she's appreciative of our commitment to help and thanking her for that. Also want to make a note this Friday again that the 9th at 3:30 and 5:30 at Quill Court, there's a celebration for SCTC 25 years of service. I'm going to be there and I hope we can support them. In the report that Ronnie put together, 33 volunteers presented 5,488 hours of service to almost 2,600 people. That's about 14 hours a month of volunteer help. And they do a tremendous, they're really quiet, to me, unsung heroes for this center. So if you all can be there just to support that, 3:30 to 5:30 on the
So it's
9th.
at the museum.
No, Quill Court, is that
It's
this?
at the Innovation Center.
On
It's
Quail Road.
A
Okay.
little further east.
To participate, yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
We just need to make sure you register at the front desk to attend. So you need to register at our front
Here?
desk.
Okay, thanks.
Oh,
Nathan.
you're supposed to register?
Okay.
We should register if we're going to.
If you plan on attending.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter that there's more than two of us at that, does it, if it's a function like that?
I don't
There's
think
no
so because
front-
you're attending as a participant at
Okay.
that point. Yeah, you're
Okay.
registering as a participant.
So just heads up for that if you all can do that. Let's see. Oh, for me, I'd like to ask for some support on the 20th, presenting our information to the city council. I'm updating it with some help for that meeting, and I'll send it out to everyone this week. The new and improved version of the presentation. 7 o'clock on the 20th.
May 20th?
May 20th. You do not have to wear anything special, like a special hat or kirt. Please don't. Actually, don't want to be distracted.
Unless it's a seed.
You get real quiet for that. What did you say? Christine is not suggesting that.
7 o'clock on the 20th.
And also, to follow up on what Lonnie said, I got a note from Councilman Popkin. Thank you for your continued services to the board. Unfortunately, I have one more previously planned trip for my day job out of state, but I'll watch the recording of the meeting as I have the other two. I'm grateful to John, Lonnie, Maria, and Ronnie who took time to meet me in April and early May to share about what the board and the senior center are working on and how I can best support the seniors in our community. I look forward to joining you all in person next month. He's very energetic, and I believe he'll bring a lot to the council and also to what we need from him as we move forward. Anything
He just
else?
said one thing. He was looking forward to being the voice for us on council. To bringing our things fully right in front of the council. So hopefully that will help us out.
If you attended any meetings or watched them, he is very assertive in asking for clarification and for asking for information. So I think Lonnie's right. I think he'll be very supportive as we go forward asking for his help. Okay, anything else? Finalized 2024 board accomplishments and 2025 board goals. I know the last meeting you all covered that pretty extensively. Ronnie's given us all this information. I hope you've all had a chance to read over it. Any questions?
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Pretty impressive. I was reading it. I was like, gosh, I forgot we did all this stuff.
Well, just for the board, 24 and 25, there were 25 items, most of which we've touched on or done something about in the last bit of time. But if you go through this report and you look at, just let me go through it quickly. Optimize health and wellness, $48,000 from the Friends of the Senior Center to support various activities. Addressing basic needs, that particularly touching housing needs continue to be significant. Senior services are an entry point for financial assistance to older person and caregivers, $39,000 for that. The biggest thing for me was looking at, additionally on page 3, support for people who need rent assistance, vision and dental care, what have you. It's a significant contribution that the Friends support, but that this senior center and their staff keep moving through the system and keep people taken care of. It's pretty impressive to Ronnie and Christina for that and your staff. It's an amazing amount of work that gets done. But it's a great report to read. I'd like to make a motion to accept it, and then, okay, so moved by Lonnie and seconded. Eric? So that's approved then. Thank you for all the work on this, Ronnie. I thought it was going to be a little short little thing, but 9 pages later. But thank you for that.
And it looks professional. It looks really nice too. You guys did a great job whipping it together.
Yeah, that's all to Ronnie's credit. He's been amazing at, implementing systems and tracking data. And I knew it was a strength when we interviewed him, but didn't realize just how much of, an expert he is. So,
Excellent. Glad
Well,
to hear it.
We should carry that yes, we should carry that a step further.
That's our Ronnie.
We'll carry that a step further. We see Ronnie at this meeting. I see him at the strategic planning meeting with the Friends. I see him at the Friends meetings. He speaks for all of us, Senior Center, and all the people we represent and the staff multiple times throughout the month. So I want to thank you very much for all of that. You're a pretty quiet, unsung hero in my book. Thank you. Can we applaud? We can applaud that. Yeah. We'll applaud for you. Well done. Thank you so much. Presentation, I talked about that. I really love whoever can be there. I think we have 5 minutes to make our 45-minute pitch to the city about accepting food security as a sustainability item, as a city priority. We're hopeful. Got some great information from Christina on these county maps that we were able to present to the board. So you'll see that, I think, by the end of the week. And please, anything you want to see changed before that on what I'm presenting on our behalf, please let me know. Okay. Clarify standing committees. Ronnie, I forgot what that means.
So we were going to just touch base to see where we're at with these committees, if we need to assign somebody new, if we want to switch those up. I know the Area Agency on Aging, we don't have a council representative with that group, so an opportunity for us just to re-examine who's doing what.
Okay. So just going through them quickly, the Outreach Committee, that's Lonnie, Maria, and Marta.
Yeah.
You've already talked about that. Is there anything you want to put before us, or just continue the way things are going?
Well, I did the report, so if everybody reads the report, there was a lot of clarification we needed to do now that we've been talking to the city. They made it real clear how we need to be structured and, know exactly what we're doing. And basically what we're doing is taking it one step at a time. And if you read the report, you'll see where we're at. The first step is to meet with Guillermo and look at some GIS mapping to see various areas of the city. So we're going to be doing that on the 29th, I think.
29th.
Okay. Ronnie set that up, so Marie and I are going to go do that. That's the one thing other than the report. But there was one other thing to mention.
There's the county information that you have to go with the GIS in the city.
Right.
About the Friends, you're constricted because there's already two of us showing up there.
Yeah.
So
we thought I could meet with the Friends to let them know what's going on, because when I did the coffee and leadership, 3 or 4 Friends members joined us, and they started to hear what we were doing, and they got excited about it. So it turns out that we cannot do that easily. I may have to ask John to step out of Dave to step out of a meeting.
Why?
So I can go and talk to them, Friends meeting.
Yeah.
So I can go and talk to them about the outreach once we have a whole structure of what we're going to do and stuff. Because 3 of us can't be in the meeting without it being published or posted. And the most important thing, it has to be recorded. So if Friends are not used to having their meetings recorded, they might not be comfortable having this meeting recorded just so I can come and talk.
When is this coming up? This
We don't know.
We don't know yet.
That's going to be down the line. But I'll definitely get with you beforehand.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that's one of the things we found out when we met with the city, is all the different constrictions we have. So right now, we're just planning on meeting with Guillermo, and we're looking into 2 different things. We're looking into areas that have underserved populations, we're also looking into areas that are 55 and older. Because that's another thing we want to drive with outreach, because it will help us with getting revenue and things. So we need to be balancing those two together. So we'll talk about that more as it comes up, and that's about it. That's all we have.
I think housing and transportation can probably remain the way it is. It's been more of a reporting process.
Right.
Sustainability, Dave, we're talking about the various committees and what's going on
appointments
with
and
that.
so on?
Mhm.
Okay.
Sustainability is,
Okay. This won't take long. The sustainability, excuse me, the Longmont Sustainability Coalition just meets quarterly, so it's not terribly time consuming. There was no meeting this last month, so the next meeting will be tomorrow, then you'll get a report the next meeting. I was talking to John before the meeting. I would like to withdraw from that committee, and I think it's an opportunity. If you like sustainability issues, it's quite interesting. So anybody would like to be on that committee.
Dave, when are those meetings?
They're quarterly, and they're usually Thursday. See, tomorrow is the regular meeting. It's from 4:30 to 6. And it's so I think they do it that way, so it's after work for everybody. But as I say, it's not terribly well. You can put as much time into it as you want, But I'm just saying, I've done it for 4 years, and I guess I just think it's time to move on and give somebody else an opportunity to do that.
where do they have the meetings? Where are they held?
They've all been on Zoom.
Okay.
Except tomorrow's meeting is going to be at, I want to say the pub, that's a bar I used to go to. It's, the fire station, which one is it downtown?
Firehouse?
Yes,
Oh.
no, not Firehouse.
Off Kemprat?
What?
Is it on Ken Pratt?
No, on Main Street. The fire station.
The red zone.
Oh, the red zone in the pump house?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, upstairs there's going to be a meeting for the first time in the 4 years I've been on it. That's the first time they're having an in-person meeting, and I gotta miss it. So anyway, if anybody wanted to get into it, tomorrow would be a perfect day. Now, that is not something that you're appointed to. It's open to the public. Janine Tarrant, if you remember her, she was a member, and when I got on the board, she wanted off, and so I said I'd do it. And so there's no appointment process or anything like that. You just go. But I did represent the senior center, so I'd like to offer that if anybody else wants to do it, it's fine. I'd say do it.
Anybody have an interest in being our representative for sustainability?
I'd be interested in going to it.
Okay. Yeah, just
Yeah,
report.
Check it out.
Okay, if you don't mind both going and coming back and
Yeah,
let us know what you
both go.
think.
Yeah.
See what you see.
Yeah, you can get as involved as you want to. Would be
Yeah.
my take
And I
on
like
it.
sustainability is one of the advisory boards, right? Boards that-
No,
No, I don't. They have.
the sustainable.
Is this part of sustainable, renewable, or is this sustainable, resilient?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I believe so.
The Sustainability Advisory Board
Yes.
meets monthly, and they they are advisory to the council,
Oh, they are, okay.
and they make they make recommendations to the city council.
So
I
this
was
is
thinking of ECAT. Yes.
So
And
this
they
is
are-
actually the Sustainable Advisory Board that's meeting tomorrow? It's actually a board?
I'm sorry?
Is it the Sustainable Advisory Board that's meeting tomorrow night?
No, this is the Longmont Sustainability Coalition.
A coalition, okay.
Yeah.
So different. Okay.
So it's, yeah.
So you can drink beer.
Yeah, if you want to get involved in that sort of thing, it's a good way to get into it.
And hopefully the sustainability, if they accept food security as a sustainability item, we can get some traction there also. So
What-
thank you both for volunteering.
Yeah. One other thing, I think if sustainability is going to become a more important issue as time goes by. And I think you've seen it in the last 3 years. So I think part of, if you want to have impact, you put more into it, and I think you could have more impact on behalf of seniors.
Good, thank you. Food security, we've talked about. Area Agency on Aging, they still have an opening. I mean, Arlene is there as co-chair, so she reports back to us, but if anybody has interest in participating, they meet monthly, and they meet all over the area, right, physically?
They do. What they do is they meet at different senior centers that are in Boulder County. So you could go to Lafayette, you could go to Boulder, you could go to Netherland, you could go to Allens Park. Every month, it starts at 9 a.m. What they offer is one of the co-chairs who works for VIAS, so she can get a bus. And if you wanted, they could pick people up here and bring them to wherever they're going, so that not everybody has to drive. It's a time commitment. It's 9 to 12, and then so I was getting ready at like 7, and that's where it really threw me off. So that's why I couldn't do it. But if you can do it, it's a great thing. You can be there. You can also do Zoom. They do have a link to Zoom meetings, which is good, except for the fact that the microphone is like at one end. So when they talk about things, that's fine, but when other people respond, I wasn't picking up what was being done, so I felt like I wasn't reporting accurately what was being said, so that's why I couldn't do it. But it really is a good thing to go to. You go once a month, and you learn a lot, and you get to see all the other senior centers. And I was always kind of like, yeah, ours is still better. Ours is still much better.
You didn't say that out loud, though. Just
No.
on it, yeah. Good thing.
Never did.
Good.
Well, maybe I whispered it to Jim a couple of times.
It's a great group to watch. I saw this at the Friday meeting. They're really committed people to senior endeavors, so it's worth the time to
They
be
have
there.
their own Christina. Her name is Lindsay, and she's the one that's typing questions while the meeting is going on and getting answers and things. So, they're very informed, they're very knowledgeable, and I would definitely recommend it if you have the time.
And they did reach out to me to say that they would like a Longmont representative from our board. There's an application process. The application is due by July 7th, so we have some time to figure that out. But it would be nice to have somebody from our board. Yes, we have Arlene there, but she's the vice chair.
Co-chair.
Yep.
Co-chair. And so, we need different role, but we need a board representative in that.
Yeah, I think it's important for a number of reasons, and one of the ones is seeing what the cuts that are coming. It's going to have an impact on a lot of people here. So having someone that can speak for seniors and hear what's being said, to explain it, I think would be worth the time. So think about it. We have to submit by July 7th.
Yeah. And as Lonnie mentioned, there's that virtual options. You don't always have to attend at the senior center, whatever. As she mentioned, it's a different senior center each month, and a great opportunity to see what else is going on, what the other centers look like. We are the only standalone, but again, for convenience, you could attend virtually. But we would like to have a board representative.
I think it's important to have somebody who's only handling the information. Arlene has other responsibilities, so it would be nice to have our own representative there handling the information, doing the reports, gathering the information, and getting it to us, so that Arlene doesn't get overwhelmed with being co-chair and the representative together. So if anybody can do it, I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, it's one of the largest senior centers. The only one that's got a separate standalone group. We have responsibility to a lot of people, so being able to promote what they have to say and be able to answer questions would be nice. So think about it, please.
It was funny when we had the meeting here, some of the people were like, I'd be okay with just coming here all the time. It's like, well, I definitely would.
And they also serve a mean breakfast. They serve a mean breakfast too. Not that should matter, but not a bad idea to show up for breakfast.
Yep.
All right. Okay, reports. Ronnie, you're up.
All right. Well, I would like to introduce Ryan Vinson. He is our recreation program supervisor. He joined us last week. Yes.
Welcome.
Good to meet you.
That's a good start. Lots to learn. We threw a lot of information at him. He went home very tired every day, every evening, and I'm sure slept very well as a result. But a lot to learn. But he's jumping in right away. He's learning our systems. He has a lot of experience with RecTrack, which we use for programming. So he's easing in very, very nicely to my understanding. I don't know if you want to share anything about what it's been like so far for you.
So just a quick background, I've been in Parks and Rec for like 20, 25 years from North Carolina. Been in Colorado for about 2 years, came from Golden, where their senior center is part of their rec center. And so we're building their programming back up because they're not nearly where they were pre-COVID, so that was what we were trying to do. And so I was in charge of all programming just in ANCU, so here I get to focus on all programming, but just for you guys. It's not everybody in all age groups, which is nice, but there's like this is probably, I've worked in a lot of centers, this is probably one of the busiest I've worked in. And that's a huge compliment to the staff here and all y'all for coming to everything. It's been nice. There's a lot to learn, a lot to get up to speed on. I've met a lot of people, much better faces than names, so I do appreciate the name tags. But it's just getting acclimated. If you know where Amy's office was, doors pretty much always open, so feel free to stop in, ask questions. Here to help however I can.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. I met Ryan when he was not officially at work, and I ran into him in the supply office.
Oh, yes.
He was.
In the back closet.
I think that's a lot of attention to detail I hadn't seen before. Here he is walking around just checking what the supplies are, looking at this. I said, who are you? He said, well, I'm the new Amy. I said, that's a lot of detail, attention to detail. I appreciate it. So very quietly going to, so thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you guys. I'll get back to you. Said you know where to find me if you need anything.
If you're not there, you'll be in the supply room. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Along with that, we have also filled 2 of our vacancies, our evening positions, our building supervisor and our evening receptionist. Sean Lovett will be joining us has joined us as our building supervisor, and Charlene, one of our longtime participants and volunteers, has joined us as our evening receptionist. So as of this moment, we are 100% fully staffed.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's been a while.
Feels good. Great team, by the way. Fall Winter Go, we're starting. Fall Winter Go. As of May 1st, we began accepting proposals for all presentations and for presenters and instructors with the due date of June 1st.
Hold on a second.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Hector?
Somebody have a mic in here because they're speaking on the.
Oh,
you hear them
that's
on
me.
The, what's it called on the gym. Okay.
Let me know if it doesn't. That should do it.
That was weird.
Yeah.
A voice from somewhere. Okay.
They take upgrades.
Make your point. I guess. That's
Well, they're informed. They know what's going on, right? They know about our new hires, and Ryan's years of experience.
full disclosure at all times, whether you want it or not.
We are transparent here.
Open record.
Right.
Open meeting.
Meeting law.
All right. So as mentioned, as of May 1st, we started accepting proposals for our presenters and instructors for our fall winter go from September to December. So we're starting to do that work now. We are accepting those proposals until June 1st, and then from there we're going to start planning out all the details for our upcoming go. We don't stop here. I also wanted to share, Ariana's been doing a lot of work promoting our AIR program, so in that packet was just a flyer for a snack and share to provide more information and for anybody to come and ask questions to learn about our AIR program and just learn more about what we offer here through therapeutic recreation. I also added a graphic that I have developed for the work that we staff are doing with our friends of the Longmont Senior Center, really identifying our 3 needs. Our 3 needs are around technology replacement, as you can see why. Technology replacement. We need more space for programs and staff, and additional staff. We need additional resource specialists to help address our wait list. And this graphic identifies how these three needs are also a concern for through the Boulder County Aging Well Report, the 2024 Aging Well Report, really identifying or taking that information from that report and showing how by addressing these three needs here at the senior center we can help support in some of those spaces. What I mean is this graphic really identifies how these needs will help us tackle social participation, which was a concern through the Aging Well Report, as well as communication and information through the Aging Well Report as well. Taking a look at the green side, it really identifies what we've been seeing here at the Senior Center, just our 2024 statistics specifically, to address that social participation. In 2024, we had 98,000 visits, which is an increase of almost 10,000 more from 2023. So a lot more visits coming through our door. And as for our program specifically, 134 day trips with 2,412 total participants. That's why we worked with our friends to purchase 2 new vehicles to allow more participation on our day trips, because the wait list is so extensive. Was so extensive for those 134 trips. So an opportunity for us to get more people out and about and participating on those day trips and alleviate that wait list. As for our on-site programs, we had 1,908 programs drop in and registered. So almost 2,000 total programs out of our facility last year. And a lot of them so popular, we have multiple offerings, right? Out of those programs, we had almost 37,000 total participants. That's a lot. That's a lot of people in our building participating in our programs. We were also able to offer 27 Spanish programs with a total participation of 801 participants for that. So we're doing a lot of good stuff out of here. Our supportive services side really highlights the work that we've been doing over there. We had 1,615 individuals coming for resource services or counseling services. That's again 1,600 people, not visits. 1,600 people through our door for those services. 998 of them were new to supportive services, and 110 received emotional services. 1,500 of them were here specifically for resource assistance, and not to mention how many people came back for follow-up appointments as well. So got a lot of good things coming out of here, but also keeping in mind what we're seeing right here is we're at capacity for programs, space, and program space staff, and that's with our current population. What this really identifies too, that very bottom graphic, that gray box, is the Boulder County report projecting an additional 100,000, almost 112,000 more seniors. Our senior population increase by in the next 25 years. And Dave, our 80 plus population is going to increase by 200
plus.
Yeah, it's going to increase by 220% during that time as well, right? So we're just seeing significant increases in our senior population currently now and projected in the next 25 years. So again, our 3 needs: technology, building expansion for more office spaces for staff and spaces for programming, as well as staff, resource staff specifically, because again, we are seeing the increase in appointments for those resource services. That very bottom graphic, that box identifies the increase that we've seen since 2022 to 2024. We've seen our supportive services specifically 2,649 new clients during that time. So 2,600 new people coming to our door from 2022 to seek supportive services. And during that same time span, serving almost 5,000 individuals since 2022. So again, we're seeing that increase every single year, but also keeping in mind what Boulder County is projecting over the next 25 years. So, again, how do we stay proactive instead of reactive? We need to start having these conversations now to create a plan to have in place to how we're going to address not just our current needs, but again, those projected needs as they continue to increase. Any questions about?
I have that one.
Yes.
On the building expansion, do we have the real estate here on this campus to expand, or would we be looking at a separate facility, or how would?
Very good. So I have brought in an architect this past year in 2024 to take a look at what it could look like with these needs specifically. We need more space for programming and more office space for staff. Again, projecting that we're gonna need more staff here. Well, we need it now, but here in the next few years. And so what they did is taking a look at our current structure. What could we do? Can't build up. That's not an option. Just the way that this building was designed. So we have double roofs on here. So we have our old structure, and then they added on top of that when they added to an expansion at that time. And so what we looked at was building out. So basically towards the park. What that would look like is taking our billiard room and pushing that back to that courtyard area. What that allow us to do is room G. Most of us have been in that small room G over there. It would allow that room to be expanded out to pretty much a room this size, make it a more functional space for programming. Room G holds up to 12 people with no chairs. You throw a table and some chairs in there, we're looking at maybe 8 or less. And so that's not a very functional space for us. This is a functional room we could program out of. So by pushing the billiard room out to the courtyard, that would expand room A. Billiard room would still be around, it would just be pushed out. And where the current billiard room is now, we'd be able to build a room like D&E, our biggest room for programming, that can hold up to, I believe, 80 people with chairs. So great room for programming with a partition to turn that into 2 spaces. So 1 giant room for 80 or 2 rooms for up to 40. And so that gives us three spaces for programs, I'll say functional spaces for programming, and as well as adding an additional 5 offices for our projected and incoming new staff members, as well as our peer support volunteers. We can even identify space, make office spaces available for them specifically. So designated office space, so we don't have to play the shell game. Who's out? What room offices can we use? Right now, with our current staff, we have Ariana Heater, who is shared with us from Recreation. She has a shared office because we don't have an office for her right now. And so, again, current needs as well as those projected needs is really identified in this handout.
That expansion, would that offer the opportunity to go up to a second floor on the expansion site?
Maybe. I haven't asked that question, but possibly, right? Because we're building a new structure, and maybe there's an opportunity. But the only thing that, for the information I do have, since I can't answer that question directly, is issues that they ran into was the current roof structure. The way it's designed, they ran into when they were building this the floor plans for this expansion. The roof caused some issues. The current roof caused issues for what those new floor plans could be. So I don't know if by building up on the new spaces that would create different issues. But a good question to have if and when we get there.
And I think it probably would add quite a significant cost to the project because we need an elevator.
Mm-hmm.
And so elevator and elevator maintenance, that's expensive.
Well,
You'd have
You'd have to have an elevator
without-
for accessibility, yeah.
technically, I don't think you do on a 2-story, but because we're a senior center,
Exactly,
And
yeah.
it may be
We'd probably
different.
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So put this together, again, our current data, Boulder County, current data for the 2024 report, as well as what they're projecting for the next 25 years, to really identify that we need to start talking about these three needs now, to again stay ahead of the curve so we can be proactive instead of reactive.
You need to put that in perspective. This is an amazing report. If you spend some time and see what's being done, it really condenses 2024 updates from aging well, etc. But once you take a look at the technology replacement, building expansion, support services, there's a fourth one here, which is more vans. So Ronnie started working on that one last year. Got that done with the Friends. He started presenting the technology replacement, got his sound systems, whatever. Went to strategic planning committee with the Friends to say, okay, here's what I need. Eliberto also works for Christina, is coming, he's facilitating that meeting because the Friends are beginning to look at how to support even further what goes on at the senior center. So the technology came on board as a discussion last year, it's now current this year, as is staffing, as is expansion. So between the Friends and the advisory board, there's a connection now beginning to develop for mutual support. So when Ronnie goes to these meetings, it's like a broken record. He just keeps talking about all the things that'll support the senior center. I think he's going to wear them down. They're excited about participating with Ronnie. Just don't forget this, don't forget this. So it's interesting to watch because the Friends see the need, so they're stepping up their fundraising game and their objectives there. So it's interesting to see both boards beginning to do more together. So I invite you to come to Friends meetings, in addition to what Dave being there, I guess to watch that. But can we attend meetings? If more people, is that still the privacy or open meeting?
Anything more than
We cannot attend.
Even if they come as a
more.
participant, just as a participant or observer, they still have to do that.
Public.
Okay.
Right?
I would
Well,
think so.
as a
because we're-
participant, that's a good, so what if John, Dave, and Lonnie go on an outing with the senior center? I would imagine,
Yes, right.
you're not discussing business.
Or representing
So-
the board.
Or representing the board at all.
Ooh.
You could do that.
So,
So
I
we
guess in
might
that
be
same,
able to attend a meeting just as a participant, just as public.
Let's check with legal just to
Good.
make sure. They're the open meeting law, like our attorneys.
So you'd be there as an observer, participant, as opposed to promoting anything.
Presenting anything.
And it's good to hear the information. I think if we can do that, if we just participate, just to hear.
Well, let's
Yeah.
double check just
If-
to make sure that we're really transparent.
Yeah, and if it's possible, I think
If
it'd
you
be
could
great
find out.
for both boards because the Friends would come here also. So
And they can, they have.
they can.
You
Yeah,
know,
they were here last
so
time
if
when
we could
Harold
do the
was here.
same thing, it would certainly encourage working together.
Right.
As long as we don't promote.
Right.
Because
As
I
long
don't
as we don't speak
I don't
for-
promote
Talk
anything
about
from my
any business at all.
I don't ever do that.
You're not.
But I think it's important to show that we're connected and we're trying to work together, at least hearing what we're doing.
And that would be the best way to do it. If
Absolutely.
you could attend meetings and just not be there to present anything.
Yeah.
Okay, if you
So
could
let's
find
just,
out
it'd be
for
great, it'd be nice to know, because I really like to see that connection begin to develop, because Ronnie promotes the advisory board and the Friends about what the senior center needs, so having us in the audience, I think, would support that activity even more.
Can I say something to Ronnie?
Yeah.
I think you've come a long ways in the 2 years that you've been here, designing that sort of thing. I know data collection is a tough one. We've talked about that, but you've come a long ways from where you were when you came into this organization. Not that the folks before didn't do a good job, they have and they do, but you've looked at it in a way that I think is really good for the long term.
well, thank you.
Good job.
I'm really, everything's data driven, right? Data tells our story. Data provides the facts. There's no gray area, right? This really identifies. I like pulling this information so we can make informed decisions, right? Based off of the facts, what are we noticing? What trends are we seeing? What are we seeing? What are our current needs? How do we stay ahead of it? And I appreciate Boulder County providing those, those projections over the next 25 years, because that speaks volumes. So with that type of information, and the current data we have, right? How do we problem solve? How do we think ahead? How do we stay 2 steps ahead, so we can not only meet the current needs that exist with our staff and our community and our seniors, but how do we provide better service as a result? And so,
most,
I'm all data.
most administrators, in my experience, and most politicians are data driven. They like that stuff. They don't like words. They like this compared to this, and last year versus this year, and that's the kind of stuff that's convincing to them, and that's the direction you're going in. I think that's good.
I appreciate that, Dave. Thank you.
Yeah.
Harold really responds to process models and looking at kind of inputs and outcomes, and that's exactly what Ronnie's done here. Like, I think we can use that as a model for the rest of our department as well. So good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Arlene's not here. We talked about agency. Dave, friends?
Friends,
Nope, sorry.
I have 2 more quick ones. Well, 3. Thanks to all of our advisory board members who participated in the Cinco de Mayo booth. It sounds like it was a fantastic turnout. A lot of people in attendance.
Yeah.
Great conversations I heard from all of our staff. So thank you all for participating. John had mentioned that we have our SETC 25 years of exceptional service celebration coming up here May 9th. As mentioned, free of charge, but we just like to know, make sure number 1, we have enough space, but also so we have that data, right, of who's participating in these events. So if you'd like to attend, please just register at the front desk. Again, it's free of charge. There's no charge attached to it.
And it's 3:30 to 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
33 Quail Place.
Our supportive services provided a dementia tour for 46 participants this past month to understand and learn what it might be what it might be to have dementia. And I participated before I helped facilitate, and it was very interesting, right? It's very eye-opening. And, when I was helping facilitate, that's my experience as a participant, but then when I was helping facilitate, really seeing a lot of emotion coming from our participants who are put in that situation to see what it may be like to have dementia.
Yeah,
And so,
Tracy did that.
yeah, it's
I was really impressed.
It's a good experience, so we're hoping to try to bring that again next year. And getting acquainted, follow-up context. So before we do our getting acquainted sessions here. So anybody new to our community, they come in, they sign up. We bring them in. We kind of just give a breakdown of who we are, senior services, what we offer, recreation services, supportive services, and just help make that connection and bring awareness, that outreach piece to what it is we offer here. And so we hold a couple of them each session. We were having, I think Dave was doing it for a little bit, calling back our participants just to see if there's any follow-up questions. What was your experience? Do you have any questions? Do you need anything from us at this time? Right? You've had some time to think about it. I was hoping that we can have another board member take that over again after these sessions. What it would be is when we see each other at the following board meeting, I would just give you the roster to give them a call and check in. Say, hey, sounds like you attended our getting acquainted. Just want to see if you have any questions. So if you have a board member who would be willing to take that on as part of that outreach, that'd be fantastic.
How often is that? How often do you do it?
We do a couple, twice each go cycle? Yeah, so just a couple times every 3 months.
I'd be happy to do it, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So,
Do we need
I would-
Spanish speaking?
if so, then we can look at that, but no.
Okay.
But if there is somebody that needs that support, then we can easily identify that.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it.
Okay, so I'll put all 3 of you, just reach out to you 3. Perfect.
Ronnie, do you set that as an expectation that we will be calling you to let you know, so they're not cold calling people?
Well, I would give the once we have a session like now, I'd have the roster just to say, hey,
Well, no, but
So the
when you
people
talk-
know.
would be
Oh, they
expecting
know.
a
Yeah.
call.
They know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that you're not
Yeah.
little marketers.
Right, exactly.
Who is
Why
this?
haven't you signed up yet?
We want to know.
You said you were going to. No. Yeah, it's just a check in. Hey, you've had some time to really process everything. Do you have any questions? And then a chance to brag, right? What we do
Yeah.
and what we offer.
You know, I'll tell you something. On the Longmont Humane Society, we call all the donors every 3 months and thank them as board members. We tell them that we've taken this on to want to let people know how to thank them and stuff. And the responses and the conversations that come out of it are really pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, people are happy with it. They're flattered that we called them, and they like the follow-up. They like having an opportunity to answer questions.
Exactly.
So it's a
Exactly.
good experience.
Well, thank you. So I have those 3, and I'll reach out next time we have a next getting acquainted, and I'll see who wants to call back on these few participants. That's all I have.
Great.
Thank you.
Dave?
Well, I guess I'll just have to beg forgiveness. How much time do I have?
About 5 minutes.
About 5 minutes, okay, that'll do.
Are we trying to?
I don't have much of a report this time because a couple things happened that kind of sidelined me for a few days. And so I didn't get a copy of the minutes because they weren't available for the Friends group. And then this morning when I did have a copy, I couldn't print the damn thing because my printer doesn't work. So and my memory isn't that good. I'll just say that I do remember one thing from the minutes of the last meeting, just to support what you were saying, is that I noticed that under the workshop that they're going to have, that the membership was included, the members of the Friends board, but no representative from this board, just staff from the senior center. Now, I don't know if that was an oversight or whatever. If it was an oversight, fine. But if that was their intention, I think that's wrong. I think there should be representation from the board to talk about future directions of the Friends group. And I think there needs to be just a whole lot more communication. I think this is just my personal opinion at this point. All organizations move slowly. That includes this organization, that includes the Friends group. But I think we need to exert constant, not pressure necessarily, but we need to make the Friends group aware that we're here and we're providing services and that we have something to say about what kind of services they might provide, what they might fund, and that need to think about these things together, to plan together. So anyway, that's about all I've got to say today, and I apologize for the short report.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a good point. It's spoke about it a little bit briefly in the Friends and Advisory Board starting to get together. If Friends can attend, if we can attend as not participants, observers, I guess.
Yeah.
If the legal says that's okay, I think it'd be great to follow up Dave's point, just to hear what's happening, and they can just have faces and names put together.
Right.
So,
They'll get used to talking to.
yep,
Yeah.
There's a strategic planning meeting that the board retreat. Friends have a retreat board meeting May 20th. I'll be there, and I've asked John to attend also, just to get that second person on site, just to begin to do exactly what Dave's suggesting. So I think that kind of communication is coming.
I think so too. I think so too. You got to work at it.
Yeah, it takes time, and there's been a board change with the Friends, so
Right.
there's just a lot of changes. So
Right.
I think we'll
Keep
see
at it.
more communication, and I think we'll see more participation. As I said, Ronnie's pretty active in saying we need it, we need this, pretty consistently. So anybody to participate would be more than welcome if legal approves it. Let's see, sustainability. There was no meeting last quarter, or no other meeting.
No meeting this last month. No.
Okay. So okay to be over early if we're getting winding down. Since no one to speak. Good. Any board updates, open discussion items?
Anything anybody's thinking about, or
Okay.
it's a good time to bring it up?
You want to talk about the food happening on, was it June
Oh, yeah,
14th.
right, Saturday.
I've been working on that for over a year. Thank you for reminding me it's coming. Yes, June 14th, the Longmont Food Rescue is going to be having a food table here. Something we talked about last year, began that process. And we've gone through legal, we've gone through all the steps. They're now, Ronnie's beginning to do some advertising, talking to city communications. Everyone here that's available is volunteered to be of help. You should be hearing from Amy. I talked to her, I emailed her last night how to make contact with everybody, to go through the Zoom training. Then you can all participate as Longmont Food Rescue volunteers at the table, June 14th. Comes online at 10 o'clock to 11:30. If I get here a bit early, set the tables up. I think currently it's going to be against the south wall here, Ronnie, by the.
It's going to be back, kind of in the corner over here. Yep.
So we'll see how it's set up. It's what they typically do when they do their every week at the end of farmers market. They set up at either Collier Park or one other place, and they bring out all this other food that King Supers give them, Whole Foods, and farmers market. So we'll see. I've got a request out to Amy. What kind of food are you going to do? So once we go through training, we'll all be available. They only need 2 or 3 of us to do that. More information as that's coming. At the area and agency meeting, Arlene promoted this to somebody up in Allen's Park and the group. So we have some people coming from Allen's Park, seniors from Allen's Park. So just start talking about it. In addition to the communication we're doing here, if we talk to the Latino community people, just to be here for that. It's going to be once a month, second Saturday, I think. More to come on that, but yeah.
How are we looking for volunteers? Because I might have there's a good chance I've got a conflict for this June 14th one, but I can do subsequent ones. But how are we looking on volunteers?
I think once we go through training, I'll talk with Amy and come back to each one of you and say, what can you be here the 14th? Can you be here the following month or whatever?
Okay.
I'm guessing it's going to run, in my mind, it'll run through the summer. And then we'll see. I don't know about coming out in the wintertime because of slipping. I don't want to have anybody to fall or hurt themselves and slippery out here. So at least a few months. They just need 2 or 3 of us. So more to follow once we've had the training.
So I'll actually be outside?
No, it'll be inside.
In the building. Okay.
Just concerned about availability of foods or whatever.
Okay.
Longmont Food Rescue has really stepped up. When other groups have said they want to do it, but they're concerned about funding, whatever, Longmont Food Rescue said, we'll be there.
Okay.
So they're a pretty wonderful group of people. There's also a group, just as an aside, Longmont Fruit Rescue, that if you have too many fruit trees, they'll come and pick them for you and distribute them to people. So there's a lot of things like that happen in Longmont that I'm hoping this group and the friends can begin to participate with or get to know about. So part of the outreach we're doing, the quiet outreach.
And if you, go ahead.
John,
Yeah,
I'll be out of town on the 14th, but I do want to be involved in it.
great.
So the Zoom meeting, the training meeting, will we all get that? Or
As soon as
when it's set up, will we notify?
Amy's a volunteer, so I'm not sure what she does in her other time. I wrote to her last night to find out about when the class is going to be, and if we do it all at once or we just at our own time. But it sounds participatory. 30 minutes, watch something, answer some questions, and you're done.
Yeah.
But I'll let you know. It's probably this week.
Okay, great.
Naomi, who's the executive director, is out of town. She left last night. We're texting back and forth that she's getting an international flight to leave town. So, but I'll find out from Amy. I'll get in touch with everyone who said they want to help participate.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Should be fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
And if you get enough, support, it will take nothing to get a few volunteers. Between the friends and us, and this is an exciting thing to be adding to the senior center. So I don't think volunteers are going to be a problem. I think we're all going to be pretty enthusiastic about it. So.
I've watched them do this at the park, and they come in like the army. They just come in, up the tables, go, out come the food, get them moving, done in an hour and a half. So they think the training's going to be pretty fun. But it's just nice to know that we'll get seniors coming in here that can participate and take home food.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Get an idea of how much it's really needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Maria?
Maria?
I want to help too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, as soon as I hear from Amy, I'll let everybody know what's going on. Okay. Any other items to discuss? Christina, is Hilda going to be able to be here for the June meeting still?
Let me see if I can find her calendar.
Also, Sandy Cedar said she's going to be here to report on legislative items.
What's the date on
The June, whatever our next June meeting is.
June 4th.
June
that?
4th.
Okay, let me check Sandy.
I saw her at the Cinco de Mayo. She said, yes, I can't wait. But
Okay, just make sure.
can't wait. On your calendar? Can't wait.
I will double check and let you know.
All right. Any other items? Any other people the board would like to hear from? At the area agency meeting on Friday, this woman named Terry something works for, she's an ombudsman for AAA. Spoke on dementia. Really interesting speaker. If you'd like someone like that to come speak here in July and other months, let me know. Or are there any other people you'd like to hear from? We have this time to hear what we can spread with the community. Yes,
What we put off and haven't rescheduled is Vision Zero.
that's right.
But we do have transportation though, right? Is that gonna include Vision Zero?
I'm not sure. We could ask Bill. I'm sure it does.
Could be both?
Could be both.
Okay,
Could
good.
ask Bill to do that. And yes,
He's
he'll go
supposed to be
Sandy.
July, transportation and sustainability, so we could find out about Vision Zero.
So Hilda will be here in June. She's a fascinating woman and a really great speaker and very passionate about children, youth, and family. Worth spending time with her. Anything else?
Can I just do a little plug?
A little plug, okay.
There's a new coffee shop right across from the Boulder County building on Kaufman Street. It's called Best Day Ever Coffee and Crepes. It is run by an organization that gives employment opportunities to adults with developmental disabilities. They have great food. They have crepes and breakfast food and all hot and cold drinks. They even have ice cream. The thing is that they were open for about 2 weeks when they shut down the street right in front of them. And it's been shut, and it's going to continue to be shut for like 3 more weeks. So if anybody has an opportunity to go over there and have a cup of coffee or have some breakfast or something, I think they would really appreciate it because
And the
they're on
coffee's-
hold until the street gets finished. And they said they have a list of besties, they call them. They have a list of their besties who want to work, but they can't put them to work yet because they don't have the revenue coming in.
Where is it?
So anything we could do, it's right across, it's right in the Spoke parking lot. I mean, in the Spoke building.
Okay.
If you know the Spoke building at all, there's this half is apartments and things. Then there's a coffee shop. Then there's the parking garage.
Huh.
So what you can do is you can come up from Fifth. They do have that open to go into the parking garage. You can park there, and then you can go into the best day ever coffee and crepes.
Best day ever.
Or you can park at Village on Main parking, the Horseshoe parking lot, and walk down the alley and go through the parking garage.
Does their entrance face Kaufman?
It faces Kaufman.
Okay.
And also faces the parking garage because the parking garage is the handicapped accessible entrance.
Okay.
So they have a ramp down from the sidewalk and then the straight into the building. Or you can come down from the sidewalk, down the stairs, onto a little patio and then into the building.
Okay. Cool.
Now we're going to be
Anybody else have any
ending.
questions?
We're going to be ending early, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to follow Lonnie over there after the meeting and have a cup of coffee.
If anybody wants to, I'd be game. I've been in there like pretty much every day since last week, so I keep getting people, oh, you want to meet? Good, I know where we can meet.
That's why you're standing out on the sidewalk saying, "Come on in."
Yeah.
Thank you.
Whenever I heard they weren't told that when they got the
Oh yeah.
lease that they were going to be shut down for 5 weeks, I was like, we need to help them out.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to join me, I'll definitely go. Let me know.
Thank you. Anything else? Any other business? A motion to adjourn?
Second.
That one always gets a real fast response. That's great. Thank you all. We'll see you next month.